Hello everybody, welcome to Rant Road, where I make a video ranting about random topics my $5 a month patrons request. Today's rant is from my first ever patron actually, who goes by the very mysterious and very cool alias, Godfather. So, Godfather said, let me pull it up, but you should do it on the best EP ever, the Boygenius EP. So, I listened to this EP. I really liked it. Most of what I have to say is probably more lyrical because I don't really have a very large basis of knowledge in music itself. I would say that musically the most similar thing that I can recommend and that I regularly, relatively enough listen to is Emily Haynes and the Soft Skeleton. It's the solo work of the lead singer from the band that is more famous than her, Metric. They have that one song from Scott Pilgrim versus the World. I don't know if you know it, but I don't even know if it's that similar, but similar vibes, and she's just an amazing vocalist, so I mean, I don't know. Might want to recommend her anyway. But as far as the lyrics go, this EP seems to have a pretty strong through line about sort of unbalanced relationships. I guess I'll just go like song by song. So the first one was Bite the Hand That Feeds. And that one seems to be, just not being able to totally change who you are for the sake of somebody, and, having the self-respect not to crumble into like a mold of their desires, and being strong enough to be your own person. I guess that's like a big thing about why my therapist always tells me I have to love myself before I love somebody else or whatever. I don't know. This would probably be a good time to mention that I have absolutely no relationship experience whatsoever, and this album is very thoroughly steeped in, relationships. It seems to be like about a relationship in a bunch of different contexts, described in a bunch of different ways, or at least a dynamic. So this is all very speculative, so please take it with a really large grain of salt. Yeah, that first song seems to be really setting the mood and reasonably clearly spelling out what this EP seems to be about lyrically. And I don't know that it's so clear as just it's a story. All of these are about the same. They're talking about the same relationship. I don't think that at all, because there's three of them. I'm sure it's more of a cluster of all three of their ideas on some topic or small group of topics. And, I'm sure it's more complicated than that, but that's just the main through line that I'm going to be pursuing, I guess, because that's the main one that I picked up on. So the second song on the EP is Me and My Dog, which I don't know if this is an unpopular opinion. Definitely the most... Okay, well, describing it as a banger doesn't really feel appropriate given the tone of the song. But it's very catchy. Just that last line, it's just very, 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 very memorable, very catchy. And it seems to be the whole me and my dog and an impossible view thing. It seems to be maybe I read it as returning to a simpler time. This whole EP seems to take place after a breakup, and sort of the pain of feeling lonely and missing somebody so much, but you just want to go back to when you had never met them so you didn't have to feel this pain, because it feels like this pain is something that's going to stick with you forever. And there's also lines in this one that were indicating what was it, she was talking about being in the crowd with teenagers or something. Yeah, I think it was being in the crowd with teenagers, watching this person ostensibly perform something, but it's kind of the whole trope of the unbalanced relationship where it's now they are in the position of a fan as opposed to an equal or a partner, and that makes it even more tempting to just try to go back to when they were just chilling with their dog, because dogs are awesome. You are the one who's in control of the relationship with a dog. But that doesn't make it any less special, a lot of these cringe cat fans, all these cat pilled dweebs who think cats are better than dogs. I mean, I I don't think they need to be compared, but they're always talking about like, oh, you can do anything. A dog's always going to love you, so it doesn't mean much. But it's like, bro, I love it. If a dog loves you, a dog loves you. It's not, there's no difference just because it's harder to get a cat to like you because cats are just kind of annoying and prissy. Like, just cats are like kind of like dicks. So like apparently that makes their love like better. But in reality, there should be no difference unless you are using your ability to garner love from animals as like a way to feel superior to other people, which is obviously a really toxic mindset to go into any sort of relationship with. But yeah, don't let the cat lovers tell you that dogs loving you makes it less special. They're just cynical. They're cats. They're like cats. The cat lovers, the real reason they're cat lovers is because they relate more to cats because they're, annoying. I don't actually mean that. But anyway, the next song, Souvenir. This was the one about not being able to, of course, like buy emotion, but like not being able, like a lot of times guys will do this thing, especially where they'll try to like buy a girl a bunch of gifts in hopes that she will stay with them or, do the nasty with them, heaven forbid. But in reality, it's not a very good like one-to-one equal for emotion or anything like that. There's a lot of gaps there. And this one seems to be this is the one that made it the most clear to me, the sort of dynamic they were talking about in this EP, or at least I think they were. And it's kind of about having more respect for the other person than you have for yourself. She mentions a line at the end about digging a hole into her own brain and like hating what she sees, but wanting to hear the other person's opinion on it. And I mean, that just kind of rings really true with just not having the self-respect to be able to give yourself enough credit and give your emotions enough credit, if you know what I mean. Other than that, oh yeah, this one had the line about moving in next to like a hospital, or never moving far from a hospital and moving like directly next to cemeteries and shit, because there was one time where this person told them that they always died in their dreams, and so it's sort of like a double meaning, I think, where them dying in their partner's dreams sort of represented the fact that their partner never saw them, I guess, as like an integral part of their life. They knew it was something that was going to end, and and that's just a really morbid notion, and that's why you would be like around like cemeteries and hospitals and these bleak, horrible, just depressing places. It just sort of like you become like more, I guess, like cynical and jaded after like a really big emotional experience, like a really bad breakup. But also it seems to be like she's remembering, I know it's three girls, but she's remembering these like specific details about something that other person said, and it's profoundly influencing her life still, even though that's probably not something that the other person put very much thought into. It's a very unbalanced dynamic once again. But other than that, what was the next one? I gotta look. My memory isn't perfect. Stay Down. Yeah. So this might just be me being bad at music and not knowing poop about music, but whenever I hear multiple people singing at the same time, I immediately think of a church choir, and like it just has like a weird religious connotation to it. So this song I think landed pretty dang well for me. It's sort of showing the dynamic in a new way, comparing it to that of like a religious dynamic. And we all know how a lot of people can be messed up by toxic religious dynamics, especially during their formative years. So I guess it's a very apt comparison, but it's sort of like the idea, of course, comes up of like deifying a partner, putting them above you, larger than life, having these unreasonable expectations of them and so on. But also they talk about like rolling with the punches in the beginning of this song, and faith, you can't roll with the punches. Faith is supposed to be totally unwavering by definition. Faith is blind. But in that sense, religion is a really one-sided affair because of how much faith there is on one side of the equation. And that's why it's used to the great benefit of those in power who can manipulate it. But having too much faith in an actual person or a partner is always going to leave you to feel disappointed, betrayed. And I think it's really difficult because faith is a virtue. Even in most religions, they call faith a virtue pretty explicitly. But a lot of times it can seem like it's more trouble than it's worth. And it can seem very tempting to become cynical, And then, I guess that there was something else I wanted to say about that. Oh, talking about being baptized the whole time. Baptism is, I think I was baptized, but I don't remember, and that's really bad. But, that was the gist of it. Oh, yeah. In the last song, wait, was it this one? No, where she starts, she's like, it's a half-life, it's a fallout, or whatever. I just thought that was really that was really funny because those are video games and video games, and that's just incredibly funny, I gotta say. I don't know why. But onto that, there was the last song. And this one wasn't immediately clear to me what exactly it was trying to get across, so I had to briefly consult the old Genius lyrics, which is just an absolutely genius website, just total bulletproof information there. You're going to get a lot of good stuff. But from Genius's genius interpretation, there seems to be a big theme of the importance of not emotional intelligence, but the importance of being able to place value in your emotions without being able to fully explain them. There's a lot of people, myself included, who struggle with having just this intense burning urge to try to justify and break down why everything is the way it is, and just not feel okay with being at the whims of being at the mercy of your emotions when they're not rational. They're not something you can predict. That's a very scary notion. And this seems to be a stance, a song talking about how it is a good thing, and it is a virtue to be able to be absorbed in your emotions and let them carry you through life. It's important. It's totally necessary to being a fulfilled person. And this one, there was a line I really liked. They were talking about two yellow lines like a tightrope or something, which I assume meant when they're driving alone. They mentioned driving through the States, talking about how being alone and being in love are really similar in some ways. It's just you have a company for the pain, which is just another thing that points to the whole idea of not being able to have love for yourself, and how a relationship is never going to be able to fix that. The dynamic is always just going to cover it up or distract you from it, but it'll never actually directly solve the problem, and you're still going to be struggling with a lot of the same issues. You just, your focus won't be on them as much, I think. But, so that's all the songs. This video is actually a lot longer than I anticipated. I didn't expect to have very much to say about this. But, and I've said so many times, I'm sure my rant quality is going to skyrocket as I get more experience just candidly talking on the mic. We'll see. There's just a few other things I wanted to mention. I'm trying to remember some other super memorable lyrics. I think there was one that's really bothering me. I'm trying to think of it right now. I'm going to have to literally check through the lyrics on Spotify. What was it? Oh, yeah. There was one song, I don't remember which one it was, but it was talking about people always say love is opening yourself up, being vulnerable, and allowing somebody to hurt you. But it's just because it's like that doesn't mean that we should romanticize being hurt in that way. I really like thinking of it like that. It's that doesn't make it just because it hurts when you're emotionally connected to somebody doesn't mean that you feeling pain when you're next to them means that that emotional connection is going to be worthwhile. I guess like it can kind of blur the lines between what is a bad dynamic and what is like a good, healthier dynamic, because of the fact that healthier dynamics have elements of bad dynamics inside of them because we're humans. I have no relationship experience whatsoever. This might all be like total gobbledygook nonsense, but this was just my interpretation of the EP. I really liked it. I learned a little bit about Boygenius. I know of some of Phoebe Bridgers' other stuff, just like vaguely, and I saw apparently they collaborated with Taylor Swift one time, so I guess that checks out. But yeah, that's about all I had to say about the album. Pretty awesome, except for the fact that it was absolutely terrible. Ha ha ha. Just kidding. Double just kidding. Triple just kidding.